Caleb Russell doesn't have to look far back to find his competition. Last year, despite a slow start to the season, he notched 10 wins in 13 races to take his 4th straight Grand National Cross Country Championship. The Drive for 5 begins now on NBCSN. Hello and welcome to a brand new season of AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Racing coverage here on NBCSN. We're going to kick it off with the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC. I'm Jason Wygant, your host. All of the racing in the championship presented by Maxxis and riders competing for an AMA national title. Some new riders and new faces, and also new riders in new places and new classes. There's the number 5, Trevor Bollinger, last year's champ in the XC2 250 class, now moving up. Thad Duvall now on the factory Husqvarna team. Also saw Chris Bach switching from Hondas to KTMs, but all chasing Caleb Russell, who is aiming for a 5th straight title. How does he stay motivated?
The more years I do this, goals become, harder to set because, I already set pretty unobtainable goals for myself to begin with, just for the simple fact, you don't want to reach a goal and then get complacent. You want to keep striving for something. So my goals are pretty unobtainable to the normal person, and I keep them written down for me, and I don't let too many people see them.
Now, last year, Russell's primary competitor was this man, Josh Strang, who won 2 races early in the year. But this year, he's dealing with a foot injury.
Just 6th day in October, so it's almost 5 months now. I shattered my heel bone. So what I thought was a fairly simple injury, from what the doctors have said, it's just an injury that takes a long time to get better, regardless of how bad it is, I guess. So everything's healed. It just takes us time to get better, and from the people who have done it before me, they've said the same thing. Some people, it's taken them 12 months until there's no pain. Some people 6. So it gets better every week. Like today, it doesn't feel bad because I didn't do anything yesterday, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's probably going to be fairly sore because of the race.
And with that, let's get this season started with the traditional race call from our live GNCC announcer, Rodney Tomlin.
Are you ready to go Big Buck GNCC Racing? 10 seconds, and the Big Buck GNCC will be off and rolling with the XC1 Pro.
And there it is, the season is underway, and it is Strang down the inside, gonna edge everyone out and get the All Balls Whole Shot Award. So sore foot and all, picking up where he left off. Start of the year very strong last year, starting it well this year. Johnny Giroir out of New England, very good in the short, quick sprint races up there, the J-Day series. He can definitely go fast, and he's the first one to challenge Strang. And look at the pace we've already got in the woods. Ricky Russell, Wild Wally Palmer, Jordan Ashburn coming through in 4th, and here comes the cavalry. Deep competition this year. I saw Ryan Sipes in the mix, Thad Duvall, Caleb Russell. Here's your 250 class, XC2. Oh, and a pileup. I cannot believe those riders survived. There's not a pileup in the first turn. I thought it was happening for sure. Chris Vendetti out of South Carolina, gonna grab your Hot Cams XC2 whole shot. And again, last year's champion has moved out of this class. Trevor Bollinger now in that XC1 division. Mike Witowski taking the lead from Vendetti. Woo-hoo, hold on to that thing. Do not hit the trees. They don't move. That is the first commandment of woods racing in the Grand National Cross Country Series. Now a new class this year, XC3, brought to you by FMF. 125 class only. Listen to it. Old school bikes and some old school riders. Paul Whibley, your 2-time Grand National Cross Country overall champ, going to come over and race a few races from us. The very friendly man from New Zealand is back, and he grabs the whole shot on his Yamaha YZ125. Wibbs is primarily here to train the pro riders for that AmPro Yamaha team, and he's going to do some racing, and he's got Jason Thomas, a multi-time XC2 champ, out there with him. So that should be a fun battle to watch. Meanwhile, Strang leads as the riders come out of the woods for the first time today. Track weaves its way through this field section a few times, but the majority of a GNCC track, probably 90%, is in the trees. So far, so good for Strang, despite the foot injury. Actually pulling a little lead. Here's Giroir in second. Russell third, so no change in the order right now. Ashburn looking good, now switching to the factory beta ride, then it's Palmer, and there is Russell on the factory FMF KTM moving up. Whoa! Little different loop through there than the riders probably expected through that field section, and that's the difficult thing as Giroir now puts pressure on Strang. The riders are not allowed to practice on these courses. They learn them as they race them, and Giroir has learned how to take the lead. Ricky Russell and Ashburn battling it out third and fourth. Here comes Caleb Russell, Stuart Baylor, Thad Duvall, and Ryan Sipes also in the hunt.
When it comes to guarding your diesel engine, AMSOIL offers the next level performance you demand. AMSOIL Signature Series diesel oils provide 6 times more wear protection than required by a leading diesel engine manufacturer. Give your hard-working truck the protection it deserves. AMSOIL, devoted to protection. See the whole line of diesel products at amsoil.com/diesel.
As riders and racers, we understand the need to get quality parts, apparel, and accessories fast. We have the horsepower of multiple warehouses to make sure your gear, OEM parts, or accessories make it to your door quickly. Check out our easy-to-use website and experience customer service that takes the whole shot. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready.
Here he is, Walker Fowler, Brand National Cross Country XC1 Pro Class champion.
The GNCC series on the NBC Sports Network is brought to you by AMSOIL. Protect your weekend. Rocky Mountain ATVMC, get ready. And by Maxxis Tires. Keeps you riding to your maximum potential.
There's Zach Davidson taking your youth overall win this morning. And then the women's class, along with 700 other amateur riders, were out there at 10 a.m. There was Becca Sheets here defending women's champion, but a bad start for her on that #1 Maxxis Fly Racing Seat Concepts machine. Taylor Jones would get the whole shot, and then her adventure would begin with an end up front.
Yeah, I got the sickest whole shot and then crashed on the third corner, so that kind of put me a long way back. First 2 laps I struggled a bit. I was pushing a bit too hard and lost more time than I made up, but then I just found a groove and started overtaking, and I ended up with the win, so I'm stoked.
Jones out of Australia would top Sheets out of Ohio, who is second, and another Australian, Mackenzie Tricker, in third. Jordan Ashburn to the lead here as we go back to our afternoon pro race. Phenomenal job in his debut ride on the factory beta machine, and this pack is flying all the way back to Ryan Sipes here in 6th. They are all pushing the pace. One of the many uphills on this South Carolina terrain. Look at Russell jumping to the top. And a little bit of dust. It's pretty bad and dusty in the field sections. In the woods, not too bad. A little bit drier on the hillsides because the rain tends to run off. But right now, dream ride for Jordan Ashburn on that beta. We talked to him earlier. He's pretty excited about it.
I got signed with Beta USA this year, and we're going to ride their bikes for a couple of years and do the best we can. For me, it's just having the whole team around me. And like last year, I was kind of on my own, and we got the whole team behind me, and they're just all about making the bike as good as we can get it every weekend, and just trying to get that next step better on the bike.
He's got 5-time GNCC champion Rodney Smith leading that program, so that experience helps. Trouble here for Strang, and I've got to take a guess here. That foot injury, I believe, has become a factor, because you can see there's not even an attempt to work on the motorcycle. I don't think that's a mechanical problem. So Strang's worst fears have come to fruition, and everyone else's has as well, as Caleb Russell has come all the way around to take the lead. So it's go time for Stu Baylor, Thad Duvall, Ryan Sipes. Where is Ashburn? He must have made a mistake. He's lost some time. These riders are all going to have to hustle. If the last few years are any indication, once Caleb Russell gets the lead, he tries to run and hide. But Stu Baylor keeping him honest right now on the SRT KTM. And then there's Duvall and Sipes. All three of these riders definitely have speed. There's no doubt about it. But Russell has been so good at applying that for the full 3 hours, relatively mistake-free. Now, Baylor here in second told us this morning his goal is to just put pressure on. Try to stay with Russell as long as possible. Maybe he'll learn. Maybe he'll force a mistake. And so far, you see him lurking there, trying to live up to that promise. Baylor's talent never in doubt, but he broke his wrist badly 4 years ago and had to keep riding through it as he was battling for the National Enduro Championship, and the wrist is not recovered, and he has not been the same rider since. So whatever he's worked on this year seems to have helped. As we go back to XC2, Lane Michael in the lead, Josh Toth behind him, Chris Vendetti and Ty Tremaine, an Enduro crosser, also up front. And we go back to XC1 and look at this. Stu Baylor is indeed putting pressure on Caleb Russell. He's right there. Russell looks over, makes a mistake, and now Baylor's got an opportunity to take the lead. Well, I think the plan, of course, was to stay behind Russell and keep the pressure on. I'm not sure if Baylor was prepared to have the opportunity to pass him, at least not this easily and this early. I mean, that mistake from Caleb Russell, the door was open, and I honestly don't think that Baylor wanted to take it. So Baylor, who's got a new trainer this year, says he's much more fit, and a lot of the training he has done helps compensate for that wrist injury and also some shoulder problems that he had last year. Whatever he's done it right, and he's keeping all sorts of heat on the champ.
GNCC is Old Eagle 50 cal, cowboy boots, diesel trucks, Copenhagen, Bush Light kind of men.
Evans waterless coolant is the solution to boiling over, so you can push your vehicle like this, and this, and this, without fearing the temperature gauge. Evans waterless coolant. Defeat the heat.
Hey guys, I'm Tim Geiser, riding for Honda Garibaldi Racing Team, and we are using Evans cooling, and I know that when I use that products, I know that my bike never will overheat, so I'm really happy with it.
Are you looking for a dirt bike piston that can increase power and decrease blow-by? Then check out Wiseco's all-new Racer Elite piston line. Racer Elite has been used exclusively by the pros, including RCH, Yoshimura, Suzuki Factory Racing, and are now accessible to the public. Available for popular 250 and 450cc dirt bikes, the Racer Elite series is the first off-the-shelf asymmetrical power sports piston ever made. Its fully machined billet aluminum construction features an exclusive custom lap top ring. Step up with dyno-proven power gains with Wiseco's Racer Elite piston line.
Back to round one of the AMSOIL Grand National Cross Country Series, the VP Fuels Big Buck GNCC. And these fans are smart. They always know where to go to find the action, even if they have to hike into the woods to get it. This hill climb, it looks pretty easy for our pro riders, but for our amateurs, it is a wild ride. And we'll show you some of the examples here. Whoa, look out, folks. Again, these fans are smart. They know where to go. They know how to get out of the way. And once a motorcycle is parked on an uphill, it's going to cause trouble not only for you, but some others. And that's when the fans get involved. Yes, that's legal. They'll help pull your bike to the top of the hill. Now, these are some memories these riders probably would like to forget. But for the good times, there's Digital Dave Smith on hand at every race, shooting photos of every rider.
You know, this is where my heart is. After road racing, I spent many years not riding on the road. I lost my brother in a motorcycle accident on the road, and so I started riding in the woods. And I really became in love with this sport, and the camaraderie that this sport has is something that you don't see even in other motorsports. I know there's a certain level of camaraderie in most of the motorsports, but there's almost like a brotherhood in the woods racing, and some of the things that have happened out here that I've got to witness over the last 19 years is amazing to me. But deep down, what gets me the most excited about what I do is when I hand someone a picture and I see their face light up and they have a genuine joy for what they're looking at, or a mother that's so proud of her son or father or daughter, whatever the case is. I like to see people happy with what I hand them as a product. And that's honestly why I keep doing what I do.
2,000 total riders on hand this weekend between our ATV classes and our bike classes. And Digital Dave Smith shot photos of every single one of them. Everyone wants to get their cameras out for this. The battle for the lead continues. Caleb Russell cannot shake the revised, revamped, rejuvenated Stuart Baylor, who's back there in second. Then you got Thad Duvall and Ryan Sipes third and fourth. If these two push each other into a mistake, the two Husqvarna riders are going to go after them. Right now, Stuart Baylor on the attack. He wants it.
I'm not hunting for top 10s like the last couple years. I'm hunting to at least shoot for that number one on the jersey in front of me. I wanna run with Caleb. You know, that's the biggest thing. I don't care if I beat him. I wanna run with him. I wanna see what he's got. You know, I wanna learn from him. And you know, there's no better place to pick up your speed rather than the GNCCs. And you know, I'm feeling really confident.
It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it. Now we're deep into the lap traffic, and Baylor has taken over the lead. And we hear it was actually that hill climb we showed you earlier. That was a mistake by Russell, and it has allowed several riders to move forward. Duvall, Sipes. There's Russell, so he's got work to do. And we have got a battle on our hands. Three very motivated riders. They're tired of seeing Russell win the races and the titles. Baylor's come in ready, and Duvall and Sipes have as well. I talked to Sipes earlier, and he said, listen, I had a bad year last year, so I'm just not happy about it. That's where his motivation comes from. The former motocrosser. It's his third year now as an off-roader, and I think he expected the wins to come a little bit easier than they have. He's still yet to get a victory in GNCC, so don't count out the third-place rider Sipes. Meanwhile, how hard and how long can Baylor go? Can he keep this up all the way to the end? A 3-hour race. It's a true test of endurance. Look at the lead he has pulled right now. He's got the speed today, Baylor, for sure. Does he have the fitness to carry that all the way to the end? And what's going to happen back here? Russell has gotten back around Sipes, third and fourth, as they head back into the woods.
Leader coming to the pits in about 15 seconds.
Here's Baylor, final little jaunt through the woods, and you hear the radio traffic there saying he's headed toward the pits.
Leader to the pits, leader to the pits.
And that's a big part of this game. You have a fuel strategy. No one can make it through an entire 3-hour race without stopping for gas. They'll usually want goggles as well. Here is Russell. Doesn't look to be on a full charge. Maybe not worried yet. Plenty of time for him to get back in this one. Here's Baylor heading into the pits now. And let's see who emerges in second. Baylor's stopping. Okay, so we're going to be a full tank of fuel and new goggles for the 514. And I was going to say, yeah, I think the lead is big enough for him to get in and out without anyone else even seeing him. And that is a tremendous gap that he has opened up. Russell comes through. Where is Thad Duvall, who was second? So that's part of the reason there's such a big lead for Baylor. Duvall must have made a bobble or crashed somewhere. Russell is in and out of the pits. There's Duvall, and he has gotten off of the motorcycle, and they're putting the bike on the stand. So something has obviously gone wrong with his machine. They're looking at the rear wheel area. So more drama out here, and it just allows Stuart Baylor to open an even bigger lead.
Are you looking for a dirt bike piston that can increase power and decrease blow-by? Then check out Wiseco's all-new Racer Elite piston line. Racer Elite has been used exclusively by the pros, including RCH, Yoshimura, Suzuki Factory Racing, and are now accessible to the public. Available for popular 250 and 450cc dirt bikes, the Racer Elite series is the first off-the-shelf asymmetrical power sports piston ever made. Its fully machined billet aluminum construction features an exclusive custom lap top ring. Step up with dyno-proven power gains with Wiseco's Racer Elite piston line.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL's Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
Even when you're the best, you never stop striving to be better. The all-new from the ground up 2018 Yamaha YZ450F is now available at LoJack Cycle Sales. With over 40 years of experience in motorcycle sales and service and 15 national championships, we know racing. So stop by LoJack Cycle Sales today in Tarentum, Pennsylvania, and visit our online inventory at www.lojacks.com. Yamaha YZs. It's why we ride.
Over the river and through the woods. The newest Polaris models are here for the holidays. Take home great deals on the world's best-selling side-by-sides and ATVs during the Polaris Holiday Sales Event.
The GNCC series on the NBC Sports Network is brought to you by AMSOIL. Protect your weekend. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Maxxis Tires, keeps you riding to your maximum potential.
Back to GNCC Racing. Stuart Baylor out front. He has never won one of these races overall. Had great success as an amateur and a youth rider and in the XC2 250 class, but has never won one of them in the big division, XC1. And it's not going to be easy. Caleb Russell is on his game. He's running strong in second, and he's starting to close back up. Thad Duvall, meanwhile, was second, and just as we went to break, we saw him pull into the pits. Try to get an update on him in a moment as you watch Baylor bashing his way through lap traffic, and that's what makes it so hard to run and hide in these races. You do all this work to get a big lead, and all that means is you're the first rider to hit the lappers, and sometimes that lead goes away, although Baylor, it appears, able to maintain it. Just an amazing run. It's so good to see someone rejuvenated. No troubles for Thad Duvall. We mentioned we have now found out he bent a rear brake rotor, which means that rear wheel kept locking up on him. Dejected for bad Thad, who has had this type of bad luck plague him throughout his pro career. The ability is there, but anything that can go wrong usually does go wrong for Thad. Oh, Caleb Russell almost threw it away. See that front end sort of jackknife and worked his way through lap traffic. Let there be no doubt, Caleb Russell is pushing it, but he is not making up much ground on Baylor. The gap has been pretty stable this last lap and a half, and Baylor, who is a South Carolina native, has a lot of fans, I'm sure, cheering him in the woods, and yeah, he's saluting them. But he has said this is not his favorite track, and it doesn't matter. Good track, bad track, Russell's out of time, and there's Baylor's mom. She's excited. It looks like victory is a lock. Stu Baylor, who said he feels better this year, he wants to put pressure on the champion, did exactly that, and when that pressure resulted in a mistake, he took the lead, and now he's proven he's got the endurance to win the race. Stu Baylor starts 2017 on top with his first ever Grand National Cross Country overall win. And so many folks who watch this kid grow up here locally got to be excited to see him get to the top, and also excited to just see someone able to take down the champion. We're going to have some competition for the championship this year. Here comes Russell in second. That's solid points. But anyone who knows him knows he is never happy, even with second place finishes. He wants to win every time he lines up. But he also knows when you have the #1 plate, you're the target. And Stu Baylor took aim today. Here's the Rocky Mountain ATV MC results. Sipes third, and Bollinger in his XC1 debut fourth, Ricky Russell fifth. Great points for those riders. Here's your winner.
You know, I got off to a decent start and took a bad line and dropped back to, I believe, 7th or 8th, and Caleb was right behind me, and Thad was right behind him. And, you know, when we talked before the race, obviously I knew we were going to be the 3 coming in, and when all 3 of us hooked up, I was like, all right, you know, it's about to get wild. And hats off to Caleb. I mean, he's an awesome rider, and no, I mean he's so consistent, flawless, and you know he didn't make a personal mistake all day long that I saw. It was just a lapper that got in his way, and I was able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you put yourself in that position to capitalize. The lappers get there. Here's your AMSOIL race recap. Started so well for Josh Strang with the whole shot, led for a bit, had some challenges from Johnny Girard. Nice move by the New Englander to take the lead. And first round of the year, everyone's excited, everyone's pumped up. Baylor here in the mix. Thad Duval, Jordan Ashburn, Ryan Sipes. It was a furious pace early, but once Caleb Russell got the lead, it seemed like, well, he's gonna do what he always does, win the race. But look at Baylor staying all over him. And then finally, when the champ made a mistake with that lap rider, Baylor took the lead. It actually looked like at this juncture, Baylor didn't want the #1 spot, but the next time he had an opening, he took it. And most importantly, once he had the lead, no one could catch him all the way down the stretch. So clearly he's not just fast and motivated, he's in shape. Let's check in with Caleb.
It was rough, and it was hard to catch the flow there in the beginning, and Stu was riding well, and I made a mistake behind a lapper, and Stu got around me right before the hill climb, then I ran in the back of him and I fell over on the hill climb, and I dropped back to 4th, and he got that like 25-30 second gap, and he just held it the last lap, and I wasn't catching him. He was riding flawless today, so you know, hats off to him. He rode really well. But yeah, we'll got to work on some things, and you know, we'll see what we can do next weekend.
Quick tip of the hat to Josh Toth on the NFAB Ampro Yamaha. He wins XC2. Jack Edmonston wins XC3. And it's Stu Baylor, the top of the big power.